I'm just curious, right? What sort of exercise do you think is going to like wreck your body in 3 minutes? I think that's like something you should set as a challenge, right? For all
Pull-ups.
those buff pull-ups in 3 minutes. There must be like added features here.
Yeah, do pull-ups for 3 minutes straight, non-stop. See how it works out for you.
Now, I'd like to like add some elements. Why can't we make it Jesus pull-ups? Okay. The idea being that you know your wrists. Fun fact for the history buffs: it's the wrists that are nailed to the cross, not the hands.
Yes, because the hand would just slide off.
Exactly. So you are nailed to a cross by the wrists. Okay. You must ensure that your head, like your shoulders, are always level. You gotta do like that inward curl up, pull up. Sorry, right? And as added incentive, there's a nice Roman spear. Just ready to motivate you to keep going for 3 minutes. I think that should do the trick. Because you have the added challenge of blood loss. Every little push up, like just little, like a Kill Bill sort of thing.
Okay, it's a little morbid.
I mean, to be fair.
No, that reminds me of that movie Zorro, where the dude, while he was training, also played by Antonio Banderas, when he was doing push-ups, he was doing push-ups above lit candles.
I mean, think of it this way, right? Antonio Banderas, or Zorro. Let's go with Zorro, fictional character. Zorro was trying to do two things at once, right? He was exercising and he was getting a traditional body wax. Wants to be hairless. The ladies like the hairless men.
Yes, usually because, okay, yeah, some men are hairier than others, but those that are hairier than others are way hairier. It's like owning a pet when it comes to the amount of hair. It's just hair everywhere.
Yeah, but like the question becomes like, do you want to be romantically engaged with your pet? Most people would say no, and those who would say yes probably should be on a list.
Probably are.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, like we're not going to get too dark into this, but
That's on you, dude. You're the one who has issues with this. Also, welcome to Too Many Bards. My name is Patsy. This is Bizarre, and we talk bullshit and record it and call it a podcast. Anyway,
I wouldn't call it bullshit. I'm sure there's some nuggets of value here. It's more like a diamond encrusted in bullshit ore. That's what we are. But yes, I was saying, if you ever want to be depressed, there are a bunch of commentary channels that have talked about this. I think one of my favorites is Turkey Tom. And I just realized something just listening to all those commentaries about like zoo files or whatever they are. I just realized, wow, there are a lot of them, and the police don't care, or like there are no laws that really like care that much about justice for animals.
I mean, I'm not gonna go into this topic, but I can see the logic to an extent. Okay, yeah, sure, you're harming the animal, but, and this is where this is a big one. Are you doing any worse than an owner who kicks the dog and breaks 4 of its ribs?
That's like saying, yeah, you bludgeoned him with a hammer, but are you any worse than the guy with the Colt 45 bullet lodged in your brain? Both are like cerebral trauma. To be fair, I think both. I think there's a difference when it comes to like a minor difference, right? When it comes to engaging with animals in ways that you shouldn't in that particular way, but both of them are sort of abuse, and I think abuse in general like is something we should
talk
probably
about
prevent.
here? Yeah.
Speaking of abuse that should be prevented, I would like to remind you of the lovely little story time challenge that we had set last time about life hacks. Like, I find you and I have very different opinions about our life hacks, and I think it'll express itself in our stories. But you seem to be someone who really thinks life hacks are valuable, or you just love them. Whereas I look at them like they're snake oil salesmen. Probably based on my experience of trying them before.
Yes, especially because you can find many, many, many life hacks which are just like, you're an idiot, right? It's just that's essentially what the life hack boils down to. It's like, look, use this life hack and your toilet will be white as if it was new. And I'm just looking at the $50 worth of cleaning products that have been used on the toilet. I'm like, you're aware the new toilet is like 100, right? Like, you do this twice, you could have bought a new toilet.
Exactly, but that's if you're not using ramen, Ramen is basically the edible cousin of of ceramic.
I've been eating a lot of ramen lately, by the way.
Oh, so you're practically eating your toilet and sink.
I guess. Anyway, so you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go with my life hack. That for some reason, I'm pretty sure it's correct, but I executed it pathetically, and it was the how to shell an egg quickly. Okay, and I'm sure you've heard of this. You take a hard-boiled egg, and you crack just peel a bit of the top and peel a bit of the bottom, and you just blow, and it's supposed to come out, right? Or de-shell easier.
Okay.
I tried this life hack twice. The first time, I felt like I was going to have a hemorrhage or a hemorrhoid or something was going to bleed with the amount of pressure I was trying to force into that egg, and it refused to come out.
But guy, did you try farting into it? Because that's the only way you're gonna get a hemorrhoid.
I mean, if you clench hard enough, you'll give yourself a hemorrhoid.
True.
Okay, so the first time, it failed miserably, and I was like, this is just a stupid idea. And then...
Can I give you... Or go. Finish.
Oh, wait, then I thought maybe it's because I boiled the ever-loving shit out of this egg. Maybe it has to be a bit soft. Okay? So I soft-boiled it. It's boiled, but still a bit gooey on the inside. All that managed to do was turn the egg into slurry. So I blew out of it. The white was still stuck to the shell, but all the yolk just went right out.
Yeah,
the hole at the bottom. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to eat eggs anymore. I just don't care anymore for eggs now. You've ruined eggs for me.
My favorite, I'm gonna just give you one quote-unquote life hack when it comes to the eggs and easy peel. When you finish making hard-boiled eggs, when you're done actually boiling them, put them in cold water for a minute at most, maybe 2. So they're still gonna be nice and warm, but they're gonna cool off a bit. What this does essentially is it creates a layer, a very small and thin layer of moisture between the egg and the shell, because both are now solids. It's no longer a liquid. And believe it or not, but an egg is porous.
I don't think we need to bring in the eggs, wealth into this. Could be a rich egg.
Anyway.
Yes. No, I'm aware of it now, just off of the stupidity of my past, because the other thing that infuriated me about this particular egg thing was the fact that I was peeling them while they were still hot, So like my hand would burn as I'm slowly like suffocating myself trying to get it peeled. It just added pain and insult to my injury.
Wow.
I'm not a smart person. When did you ever get that impression?
Well, if you weren't a smart person, we wouldn't be hanging out. You're at the very least smart enough, for me to appreciate you.
Yes, as long as
Which
eggs
is
are not included.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, to finish off the egg thing, so when you start actually peeling the egg, because of that moisture, the shell isn't gonna stick to the egg, and it's just gonna peel off nicely. So you could actually essentially peel it like a tangerine.
Mm-mm. So, in other
Anyway.
words, it will squirt its essential oils into my eye and turn me off tangerines. Yes.
Yeah, let's go with that.
That never happened to you, by the way?
Oh, sure it did. It just never squirted into my eye because I actually, use my brain and keep them at arm's length.
I mean, okay, are you accusing me of blindness? I thought it's perfectly normal, when you're peeling a piece of fruit, you peel it like close to your face because you want to sniff that deliciousness, open up that appetite, for that.
Have you ever cut
healthy
onions?
meal. Yes, I've cut an onion.
All right. There's a way to cut onions without tearing up.
Gas mask?
No, actually keep them at arm's length, and I'm talking full arm's length, and make sure they're eye level.
So basically, like kowtow to the onion as you chop it.
Essentially, yes, but you're not gonna get a single tear out because the gases, technically, because it is, they are that are being released from the onion as you cut it go up, not horizontally. Because if they went horizontally, you wouldn't be having that issue in the first place.
Gas go up? Whoa! Oh my god! Sorry, I was dying to use that meme.
Anyway, that wasn't the life hack that I mentioned. That I learned that a few years ago when I got really upset about having to cut onions in that particular manner. So that's what I learned. The one of the first ever life hacks I learned from that British TV show Brainiac, and that was when trying to get, let's say, a ketchup or any other condiment out of its container. The fastest way to do it is to hold it vertically, like you're gonna pour it anyway, and just slap the side. Not like shake it up and down or whatnot. Like hold it like you're gonna pour it, and just tap the side.
Why do I feel
repeatedly?
I feel like you and I are old enough to actually know what Brainiac was and like watch it. But I feel like that's a life hack that you'd hear from like your 90-year-old grandpa. Like, oh, kids these days don't know how to operate a ketchup bottle. I weep for the future. You're supposed to tap it from the side. Not shake it vigorously up and down like an infant.
Yeah, and then get one of those cases where just all of it suddenly decides to unstick from the bottle and just have an avalanche of ketchup on your plate.
That actually like happened to me before, like I tried multiple attempts, right, at trying to find the best ketchup delivery method. I even did the like just hold it and let gravity do the work. Eventually it'll get down there. The shaking up and down and the gravity thing didn't work because of the same principle. Like, it would give you a few drips and then just diarrhea, ketchup diarrhea all at once.
Yeah, because the air bubbles went through and formed the tunnel.
Yeah. Betrayed by gravity once more.
And then physics and common knowledge.
I wouldn't say common knowledge,
Or common logic, sorry, wrong word.
Physicists study hard, so that they can teach us, they can predict the way a Pringle chip will snap.
This is a real thing, isn't it?
This is a real thing. I kid you not. Like thousands of dollars worth of study on Pringle chip snappage.
Snappage.
I think snappage is a good word. You know, if it's not a word, it should be because it's great.
Anyway, what is our today's topic, Major?
What is our today's topic should probably be grammar based off of that. But
What
sadly,
today's topic ours is?
our what?
Is today's topic ours what?
You are actually managing to give me brain cancer. Like I legitimately have lost the ability to think. But our topic
What
today,
topic today is our?
topic hour today is something that I feel
Our.
for you and you feel for me and everyone should feel for us. No, it's
Envy.
not hatred. Envy's pretty good. Envy's close. Admiration. Yes, I do often think of myself to be the cream of the crop. Doesn't matter what the crop is. Milk, I'm the cream. Corn, I'm the cream. Tomato, best believe I'm that cream.
Potatoes?
Potato cream is like so last season.
No, that's literally vodka.
No, I'm thinking just before we go into this, right? What vegetable cream would you admire the most? Be like someone worked very hard to exercise the cream out of that vegetable. You know, that's desirable and it should be. Doesn't matter what it tastes like, it's the effort that makes it admirable, right?
Aloe vera.
Aloe vera? Is
No,
that-
aloe. You know, like the hand cream.
It's not a vegetable though, is it? Wait a minute. Is aloe vera a vegetable?
Quick googling later.
How do we always manage to end up with more questions than answers on this podcast?
The quality.
Like, is aloe vera a vegetable? What am I doing with my life? Etc.
Hey, at least you have it easier than Dexter. From Dexter's Laboratory.
Okay, I was like, Dexter the serial killer?
No, Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. When he made like a dream machine. Where like he was supposed to go like make the perfect dream, but Dee Dee, as is tradition, pressed the button and turned it into nightmare mode because of course he made a nightmare mode for the dream machine.
Yeah, just brilliant science right there.
Yeah. So at one point, she like after he completed every college and got every doctorate and was the most brilliant man in the world, she just shows up with a piece of paper. She's like, "Oh, cool. What's the purpose of meaning?"
Like
He just loses it.
like I remember there was a lot of like hilarious things in Dexter's lab. I think this was also like the dream sequence thing, but like it went from what is the meaning of life and all this stuff to like giving him a test where he like panicked thinking he's so dumb, and the question is like, what is 1 + 1? And like in a panic he's like, Mount Rushmore.
I think that's actually the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Was it? Oh my god! Like the problem is when you get a bunch of shows all made by the same person, it becomes hard to differentiate between them.
Yeah, except I actually consciously sat down and watched the entirety of those shows. I don't think I've actually seen all of Dexter's Laboratory because it's been probably like a very long time ago that I actually sat down and did that. But I know I sat down and watched all of Courage the Cowardly Dog, all of Chowder, all of the what's it called? The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Mm, and a bunch of others that I don't remember. I'm currently stuck on Conan the Adventurer. Yeah, the one from the 1990s, and I've been stuck on it for years because I had to like sit down and make a conscious effort to finish this one episode because it was so shit.
Wait, isn't Conan the Adventurer the one where they got canceled early, and so like the actors trolled the production because it's like you've already been paid and you're not going to be like they informed them while they were still in production that they're not going to continue. So like all the actors and like crew started trolling, and it led to that piece of that slice words that slice of fried gold, right? That was the scene. I forget what it was. But he's like, instead of yelling in a disappointed way, he yelled the word disappointed.
No, not that one. No, that's the movie. I'm talking about the cartoon.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we were talking about the same thing, but not the same thing.
Yes, we're talking about the same thing, just kind of different production values and yeah. Anyway, is aloe vera a vegetable?
Is aloe vera a vegetable?
Please Google it.
Do you want to put a bet on it?
What are we betting?
I don't have anything of value. Do you have something of value?
Ooh, I know. Pun privilege.
No. I refuse to encourage.
Just let's say for the next episode.
Fine. That's the pun.
Not eternally. Come on.
That's the bet. Okay, cool. So, is aloe vera a vegetable? And I
Wait. We didn't say who's betting on what. I'm saying it isn't. I'm saying it's just a plant.
You're saying it's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's only your bet that really matters here. You're the one that like is getting pun privilege. I would take that privilege to not use it. So, your answer is that it is or is not.
It is not a vegetable. It is just a plant.
Okay. The question in Google, I just want to note, has a capital A when saying a vegetable. For some reason, that's just the most popular hit. A bunch of people with accidental caps lock. Aloe vera, according to Amazon, is a flowering plant, but the part that is eaten is the stem and juice. Ergo, it would be considered a vegetable. Like, I find that weird. Couldn't one say the same thing about a piece of fruit? You consume the stem and the juice?
I mean, that's essentially what. What was it? That's essentially what a pineapple is.
Yeah, like a pineapple's pretty much the same thing, right?
I love the fact that people like. I was so shocked when I found out pineapples don't grow on trees. They are the tree.
They are the tree. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a second opinion on this from someone other than Jeff Bezos. Okay, so aloe vera, according to Wikipedia, is a succulent plant. Are succulents vegetables? We're going down the rabbit hole.
Again.
Are succulents poisonous to cats is the first hit I get on Google. Okay. Clearly, a bunch of people are afraid of their cats getting into the tequila.
Ooh. Oh yeah, wait. I don't remember how's tequila made. I think that's actually made out of the entirety of the plant, not just like from the
Oh yeah, like
Go on.
tequila actually doesn't use the green or blue stem like leaf things that you see. It's actually like the base of the aloe vera plant, which is just this giant like sappy seedy mess, I guess, or something like that. And they end up just constantly like crushing it into a pulp until they squeeze all the juice out of it. And that's sort of like what they use, boiling it down and distilling it. So if you ever want to make tequila, don't use the flowery bits. Okay, succulents are vegetables. I'm sorry, no puns for you. They're considered early vegetables. So they're like vegetables with growing pains, I guess.
Question mark?
Developmentally challenged vegetables.
No. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, that's another thing that I find interesting is like, like people go, oh, I love aloe vera. It's such a great product. Yeah, but do you know what it is? Yeah, it's a hand cream. No. That's the name of the plant. Really? Yeah. So like, people have admirations of not fully or not even remotely understood concepts. It's like whenever I hear somebody's like, "Oh, I'm a communist," I'm like, "My guy, you are not a communist. Trust me, you are not." or like the only time I actually say that I'm like a communist is when it comes to dates, not like when you take a significant other out, but like calendar dates. It's like, when's Easter? I don't fucking know. Sometime between March and May.
Yeah, see, I'm a communist only in the sense that I believe rent is a joke. But this comes from a person who's never... Well, no, I have paid rent once in my life. But, like, we own the house we live in. And I just thought for a moment, what if I actually had to pay rent on this? That's stupid. And not only is it stupid, it's psychotic. You know, rent should be abolished. And people are like, you sound like a communist. I'm like, communists have a pretty good idea when it comes to real estate.
Yeah, you don't own anything. Everything is owned by the government.
Yeah, but look at the bright side. You don't pay rent.
Haha.
So the building might be terrible, but it costs you nothing. Besides,
Or like people are like, oh yeah, capitalism is great until you learn what gateway capitalism is, and then you suddenly realize that capitalism isn't that's great at all.
yeah, capitalism is great, it's like, but not for you.
Yeah, it's like when Apple made those like wireless headphones, just like earpods, and everybody's like, oh my god, now if I want to have these, I gotta buy what's it called? I gotta buy an iPhone, and then I forget which rapper or musician was like, no, you fucking don't. Let's just make my own, and he did.
Ray J, exactly.
Yeah, and then the Chinese market got wind of it, and they went ham. Now you can find them from like everybody and their mother.
Like, just as a short aside on Ray J, I gotta, like, since the subject is admiration, I got a bit of admiration for Ray J, right? The amount of confidence and salesmanship of this man is absolutely hilarious. Like, one of the things that I think Ray J, like, was selling about Raycons was the fact that he's like, oh, they're unbreakable. Go ahead, try them. Try to break them. And this guy just takes the earbuds, throws them on the ground, like crushes it under heel and twists. And you can see like the absolute hatred welling within Ray J. He's like, you know, you could have done it off screen and not publicly embarrassed me.
I think it was something similar with Elon Musk and the car.
Oh yeah.
Where he went ham on it. He's like, well, that's got to get fixed.
Yeah, it was like that new disaster truck, and he's like, "Oh, this is the future." And he just like not even hits it hard, just gives it like a good thud against like the window. Which, fun fact, you know, the easiest windows to break in a car are all of them other than the windshield. So he just hits the driver's side window, it's light tap, and it just shatters. It's like, the future apparently hasn't mastered Windows yet.
You know, kind of a big deal. No, but windshields are very hard.
Windshields are very hard. That's true. I just found it like funny how we can get windshields to be hard. All the other windows were like, nah, I can't possibly see a reason why I would need to strengthen those. Carjackers. Every police movie where they shoot from the back.
Okay, for that you need bulletproof glass, and that's a different story.
I imagine, like, a windshield can take one bullet.
No, it'll go straight through.
Well, at least it won't shatter,
Like,
I think.
It's gonna shatter, yes, but it's gonna keep its integrity, meaning it's still gonna stay in one piece. It's not gonna fall. You know, like it's gonna flake, but it's not gonna fall apart entirely. Because I've seen car chases where a police officer was being shot at, and you're seeing this from his perspective because he immediately turned on his chest camera, and the dude didn't even hesitate. He took out a gun and shot through his windshield.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't even go like the Hollywood style, like hand out window. No, just like took out a gun, shot directly in front of himself through the windshield.
Well, that is pretty admirable. You know, you gotta admire his confidence. And speaking on admirable confidence, have you heard of a painting called Admiration?
No.
Right. This painting was made by a person named William Adolphe. Hard to pronounce French name. Okay. And I was just like, I was looking for something to start my research into, you know, how I can help people appreciate admiration more. I was like, oh, did you know there's a painting titled Admiration? I'm like, that sounds great. Culture, relevance, it's all there. And then I looked at Admiration. Yeah, this guy was weird.
Let me look it up. Hold on.
Oh, you're in for a treat. In fact, everyone should look it up, you know, especially if they want to get on a list.
Should I be looking this up?
I mean, you can. It's a painting after all. It's not like... It's art, okay? It gets a pass because it's art.
Is this something I want in my Google search?
Yeah, it's art. People think you're sophisticated.
Admiration.
By William Adolphe. That's with an Adolphe with a PHE, mind you, not the other one.
Oh, is this like... Yeah, this is Cupid.
No, it is not, because I actually looked through the description.
Dude, it's got wings.
It does not.
It does.
No. What are you talking about? Are we really
I
going
can see
to
the
argue
wing.
about this? William Adolphe. Okay. Now I have to look at this painting twice. No.
Is it the one? Is it the one with the kid in the middle and like five women?
Wait a minute. He does. Okay, the description
Yeah,
I
that's
read was
Cupid.
apparently like incorrect. It is.
That's Cupid. Like 1 for 1.
Yeah, it's a cherub. Because I didn't see the wings, and because I didn't, it was very sus. I was like, Because the description was literally a bunch of women admire a young boy. I'm like, oh my god. This has CP all over it. Because
Yep.
it's
Except it's a cherub, which is either, a mythological being of unknown age, older than the world itself, because God made angels first and then everything else. Or, it's Cupid, who is shockingly a Greek god.
the funny thing I've always wondered, like, okay, what? First, I'm going to start with this painting. Why is there so much nudity when the subject is admiration? Do you often take off your clothes when admiring something? I don't. I don't think any normal person does.
Maybe it should be a trend.
It's like just walk into the Louvre. Oh, so much beauty around me. Time to disrobe. I can't appreciate it unless I'm naked.
Yeah. Do the same thing in a restaurant when getting that perfect pasta. Just like disrobe before eating your properly cooked egg.
I mean, okay, that hurt. That was hurtful and unkind and unwarranted. Okay? I am never going to disrobe around you because there's nothing to admire.
Hey, dude, it's not my fault I'm built like a Greek god, okay?
Fine, I might take off my socks, okay, in your presence, but that's it.
It's like one sock, the left one specifically.
Yeah, that's the toe jam sock.
Ugh. I never understood the concept of toe jam. It's just like, do you not bathe like once a week? How little do you have to bathe to accumulate toe jam?
Okay, Patsy, you've been a teenager before, right?
Yeah.
Teenagers are notoriously lazy. I once was so lazy, I didn't shower in like 15 days. I started to get the toe jam.
Yeah. I didn't, and I did the same, exactly the same. But that's because COVID was going about, and I actually just existed on my couch for like a month. Okay, yeah, sure, I showered like twice in that month, but still, I legit went without showering for 2 weeks, and nah, it didn't make a difference because, hey, guess what? To get stinky, you actually have to do something. In eating low-calorie meals, because you're a lazy bitch like me, and not in reading something which is an equivalent of, how many words does the Bible have?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 50.
Google a plex number of words.
Why is this like homework basically for me now? Every time I come here, like, find the answer. Bible, words, total. I feel like we're just gonna speak like machine language soon. Grammar will not be a thing. Okay. There are a total of 31,102 verses. Okay. 31,102 verses, which is an average of 26 verses.
Sorry, but anyway, did you hear anything just now?
Well, you had disappeared for a moment, and now you're back.
So there was no noise on my end?
No.
Wow.
Just a badink of you coming back in.
Okay.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Supposed to hear a noise?
I was getting I was getting a loud phone call, so I heard nothing after I asked you how many words does the Bible have, and after you said I'm gonna hazard a 50.
Like that was God calling you to tell you how many words are in the Bible. And he agrees with me. It's 50.
Okay, let's say 50.
Okay,
So,
the actual number
in the span of
the
COVID,
actual number is
go on.
783,137, which is basically 50. Basically.
Okay, yeah. So I read essentially 2 Bibles worth of books, which was all one book during COVID.
I see you've been reading Stephen King.
No, I've been reading this fan fiction I really like.
Why are we friends again?
Hmm. You cannot let go of the admiration you have for me.
True. I'm already like half naked, so.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to talk about other people that we really should not be half or fully naked around, that were supposedly admirable. And you know what the best way
Yeah,
to do that
okay.
is?
Do tell.
Give them a prize. Give them a little token, a nod, a little pinch of the cheek that says, I admire you and everyone else should.
Fair, but then again, there is that thin line. Like, where does admiration stop and obsession begins?
Ooh. Well, you can begin with that. Like, here's the thing. Sorry, cutting you off. I think the difference is admiration is the idea of, I wouldn't have done the same thing, put in the same situation as you, but you chose the better option. So I admire that. If I was in your place, I'd want to do that, but I'm pretty sure, like, I wouldn't be up to the task. Obsession is like idolization of someone, and I think the difference is, like, in obsession or like idolizing somebody, right? You're never going to try and put yourself in that person's shoes, because you're already from the get-go saying, I could never be that person and I could never be in that situation, even though I really, really wish I like that I was, so I can only live
That's
vicariously
envy.
through them.
Okay, that's called envy.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think admiration is the idea of, I wish I could do that, but I'm very much aware that put in the same situation, I wouldn't. I wouldn't choose, let's say, a vegan diet. Okay? If I was put in the situation where I could afford one, even though I know it's probably better, or at least less worse for the environment. Right? And that's why I'd say I admire vegans. They're going the extra mile for what they believe in. I wouldn't do that. But
Believe it or not, somebody actually took and completely demolished this one vegan person. I forget who it was and what talk show that was, where he's like, you are aware that, like, your carbon footprint because you're vegan is much worse than somebody who chooses to eat locally because it, and then he lists all of the food demands that vegans have and how much import and export and shipping and all of that has to be done in order to even get that done. Well, if you just go have a beef what's it called, a beef hamburger, or even just corn on a cob. Just corn on a cob. Where do you think that corn was made? Sure as hell wasn't made in Malaysia.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with like a vegan diet is the fact that they want highly processed, high quality, high tasting foods, which sort of defeats the whole point, right? It's the processing that really affects the environment as much as like it's not just animals. Sure, they produce a fair amount of carbon, but there's also like the processing factories and all that moving around that factors in as well. Now, imagine if you only ate stuff that was seasonal and grown locally. I think they like a lot of vegans would be like, but almonds aren't grown locally. How can I put milk in my coffee? Don't. It's that easy.
You,
You chose a
you don't put
difficult
milk in your
lifestyle
coffee.
for your ideals. Stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, my darling, about a month ago, we both realized actually, she developed lactose intolerance.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Yeah, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of upset stomach, a lot of gas. Oof. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, but that's beside the point. So this is the funny bit. We went out for lunch the other day, and I ordered my espresso with a cold milk because I like to drink my coffee immediately, and she did the same. And I'm like, with cold milk. She's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I'm asking again. With cold milk. She's like, yeah. You mean with almond milk, honey? You're lactose intolerant, remember?
I love how in both of those statements, like those questions, you put the emphasis on the wrong word. You're like, with cold milk. With cold milk. It's like, I think you should have focused on the milk portion. It's like, notice that I'm emphasizing milk and not the important part that's missing. Because I can't emphasize it, it's missing.
Hey, listen, I wasn't exactly in my right mind, okay? It was lunchtime and I didn't breakfast that day and I had like half a coffee. I was I wasn't my
I mean,
best.
fair enough. Like, I understand, and especially when it comes to coffee. Like when I go to my day job, okay, I cannot I can't even take my laptop out of my backpack and put it down and like just arrange everything on my desk. I immediately go into the office kitchen. I throw the backpack on the floor. I make a cup of coffee. I go out and drink my coffee. And then I come back. I'm like, okay, now I'm a decent human being. I can pick up my thing and start putting things on desks.
And I hope that it didn't crack when I tossed it onto the
I mean,
ground.
I specifically bought what's it called, a backpack that has like a bunch of lining inside. Because, fun fact, I've gotten way too used to throwing back, like things with computers in them aside, to the point that like I don't know how it happened, but like an entire like corner edge of a laptop just snapped off and just like this hole exposed. I was like, okay, I have an open case. This shouldn't be a problem, you know, everything's still functional. It gets a bit of dust, you know, it's convenient now. I just stick the vacuum cleaner, suck the dust out. It's great. And then it rained.
Oh, I love how the world was like, convenient. Let me show you.
Let me show you the price of your convenience due to your oafishness.
Yeah. But also, that's not the only thing you're damaging. You're damaging the hard disk as well, unless it's a what's it called?
Solid state?
The hard disk. Yeah, unless it's a solid state hard disk. In which case, if it isn't, I guarantee you it's not going to live much longer.
I mean, that's the thing I wonder about like, why does a solid state last longer than, like, those attachment, the ones that come with a cable attachment? Like, in my understanding, because it's directly fused to, like, the motherboard, wouldn't that make it more, like, exposed to use damage?
You got me, dude. All right, I stopped pretending I can keep up with the technological world back in middle school.
I mean, I'm surprised that I own a smartphone. To be honest with you, I'm that technologically inept. I thought it an achievement that I managed to finally get on the Netflix bandwagon in 2020.
Wow, I got on that bandwagon like last year, so I'm worse off. I'm like 2022.
You feel me, right? We're so technologically like dissonant or distant that we're like, yeah, I think it's time a decade later to finally join Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make sure that they fixed all the kinks, you know?
Yeah.
But, okay.
Which they absolutely haven't.
I mean, of course they haven't. I mean, to be fair, you've heard of Bethesda, right?
Oh god.
They've never made a fully functional game, and yet everyone plays them right out of the gate because the fun is seeing how broken it is.
Quick question. What happened with Mass Effect Andromeda? What happened with that?
I have no idea. Like, to be honest, I haven't kept up. I've just, like, I have 2 games, and these games take up my entire free time, and it's fine. They're like my opiate, and it is Fallout 4 and Skyrim. They're both Bethesda games, mind you. And part of the fun is just, like, going through the routine, all the same thing over and over again, and just watching how it can break differently. That's the fun.
Okay, Skyrim definitely a broken game that developers actually refuse to patch up because the glitches are what makes it fun. Otherwise, Skyrim and Oblivion are genuinely boring.
Oh yeah, like Skyrim and the funniest thing is everything that's supposed to be entertaining about it is such a half-assed attempt. Like, buy a home, buy a business, invest all these things. I'm like, okay, what do I do with that money now? Do I get to, like, buy more businesses? Does this translate into anything meaningful? Do people start respecting me more in this game? Nope. Get one business and one house and be happy. I'm like, well, what do I do with all this useless money? Like, only a game studio as rich as Bethesda would look at money as, like, being something you can have a bunch of it and nothing to do with. It's like, oh, I just got all this money with no good use for it. You know, I love to throw it into the fire, keep my toes warm.
Mm-hmm. That actually reminds me of a funny bit from D&D which occurred. I absolutely adore D&D, and I admire anyone who DMs professionally, simply because that's a hassle. Ironically, I watch none of them. Not Critical Role, not Dimension 20, nothing. I watch none of those things.
So you admire them from a distance.
From a large distance. Like, I admire them as people admire football players. From, like, approximately 100 meters away in the stands.
Using foam fingers.
Yes. Anyway.
What?
I actually had a foam finger at one point. I think I threw it away because it was like, well, what am I going to do with this?
Well, I'm sure someone has made a life hack for foam fingers.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I mean, if you wanna see just like how stupid quote unquote life hacks can get, just go on Reddit and type in DIWHY.
DIWHY.
Yeah, instead of like do it yourself, it's like DIY.
Oh.
Why would you do this?
Oh no. That was a fatal blow.
It's so bad.
Oh,
It's so bad.
like, can feel my life essence leaving at that.
I keep no. That's the name. That's the name
I
of the
know.
subreddit.
It's terrible that it's actually a pun. Like, something that attempts to be a serious thing but uses a joke for a name.
My guy, trust me, the content is worse.
Oh my god. It can't possibly be worse than,
If you
like,
think that,
what was...
you know what? No, open up Reddit. Open up Reddit. Look at DIY, and you'll see what I mean.
You know that I live in mortal trepidation of Reddit and the users of Reddit. I know you are also one of them.
Anyway, back to the topic of admiration and what the funny was because you mentioned you would throw gold into your fire to keep your toes warm. There was I forget that there was an encounter. I forget who made it or where I heard the story, but the point is there was an encounter and there were these zombies that kept coming back to life unless you burned them, or they were like host zombies where like swarms of bugs would come out of them unless you burn them quickly enough. So what happened was they took down that one zombie that was giving them problems, and the rogues just grabbed the torch and I believe it was oil or something, whatever, or some alcohol, and just chucked it onto the zombie. And the party wizard was like, "No, wait, he might have some magical scrolls on him or something like that." And the rogue's like, "Don't care, can't read scrolls, and gold don't burn."
I love how it's always the wizards. Like, have you noticed as a trope, wizards are just so self-centered. Anyone who plays a wizard, like, you might be the nicest person on the planet. The minute someone says, "You're a wizard, you have magic," and most of it is catastrophically destructive, but it only counts if you have the magic words to read, they become the most, like, self-centered scumbags. You know, every time there's a problem, you're like, "Oh, maybe the wizard can help." Wizard's like, "Sorry, not really my thing. I can read a scroll for you if you like." Like, why? Why do you exist? Why are you here right now? Who invited you?
Yeah, it's like mine and your characters in D&D. It's like, my dude is a force to be reckoned with. Ask him a question that is very knowledge specific, and he's gonna be like, Mazar, how about you take this one, yeah? I'm not very word savvy.
Or my favorite is, like, people who, like, have you ever played with people who are, like, really good intentioned when they like start these games, okay? And they pick a wizard just because they think, "Oh, you know, wizard, that sounds like something useful to be," and they're, like, trying to be helpful. I played a game with someone who played a wizard, and they had fireball, okay? The problem is, they really wanted to be helpful during combat, but for some reason, they didn't understand that, you know, friendly fire is a thing in reality, and it's a thing here.
Ironically, how you use the word fire.
There you go, see? So, after, like, fricasseeing everyone, including their own teammates, they became absolutely paralyzed with fear of, like, doing any combat. So, there would be combat, and people would be moving all around the battlefield. And then there's, like, this one wizard who has, like, remorse and guilt over their first attempt at helping, where you're like, "What are you going to do?" Like, "I'm just gonna stand away from everyone." They're, like, afraid of hurting anything now.
Yeah, that or those that abuse game mechanics like to a ridiculous extreme.
Yeah. Speaking of people,
What else is there?
speaking of
Yeah?
people who abuse game mechanics, let's say you are going back to my bit. I will end with the stellar contribution of admiration, right? The people we should be admiring in life. Okay? We gift them little medals to say, hey, you're a great person and I admire you. Can you guess what little little medal, little prize this is?
No.
Oh, come on. I'll give you a hint. It's named after the Boom Boom Man.
Oh, you mean the Nobel
There
Prize?
you go. Yeah, the Nobel Peace Prize, okay? Now, there are arguably fair handed out Nobel Peace Prizes. There are some that are stupid, and there are some that are downright catastrophes. My favorite are 3 instances, okay? And I'm going to mention 3 sets of people, okay? I want you to identify for me, did this person receive a Nobel Prize or not? Henry Kissinger.
I'm gonna say no.
You are incorrect. He did receive a Nobel Peace Prize. Okay? A random German guy who outed, what's it called? The German government or rearmament during, following the Versailles Treaty. Like secret rearmament.
I'm gonna say no again.
You're incorrect. He got a prize. It didn't really help him in the long run. You'll find out why in a minute. Gandhi. Incorrect. He did not.
Are you serious?
Okay, and now I'm going to explain each one of these for you, okay? Just to understand how stupid this admiration prize is, okay? Kissinger and Le Duc To, okay, were 2 people that received the Nobel Peace Prize for the end of the Vietnam War, right? Kissinger accepted his prize and then went on to organize the carpet bombing of Cambodia. Great guy, right? Le Duc To was given the prize, but he was like, no thank you, I think that's stupid. So at least he had the decency to reject it. You know, the same guy who's participating in interesting moments of history. We'll leave it at that. Okay, the German guy, okay, arguably did a very brave, very important thing towards peace, such as, you know, outing his own government for secretly building up arms that would lead the way into World War II. Okay, this guy was given the prize only after 2 members of the committee quit in protest, saying that he shouldn't deserve it because he committed an act of treason. And you know who agreed with that sentiment?
Wrong.
A certain toothbrush-mustached person who immediately upon hearing that this person received the prize and for that reason had a car waiting at the airport upon his return to escort him directly to a concentration camp.
That's
oh
fun.
Yeah, I'm sure he and his prize had a great time. Gandhi, however, did not get a peace prize. Now, we all know, like, modern unveilings that Gandhi was a terrible person. So this is probably, like, a good choice. But do you want to know why they did not count Gandhi? Because
No,
after
actually.
years
Why?
of like refusing to count him, they finally capitulated to all that pressure that Gandhi should be included. But Gandhi died, and the committee were like, "Oh, we wish we could, but we can't give Nobel Prizes to dead people." It literally, by the way, is one of their conditions. For a peace prize, you have to be alive.
That reminds me of the Darwin Awards.
Oh, please explain how.
The Darwin Award is the exact opposite of this one. The Darwin Award has actually three conditions, to my knowledge. One is that A, you have no offspring. So you have no biological children or descendants, for
Okay,
that
so
matter.
you can't eliminate yourself from the species if you're still there, in the form of children. Okay.
Exactly. So that's first. Second, it has to be unintentional. Oh, actually, second, you have to either destroy your reproductive organs, or you kind of kill yourself. And three, it has to be unintentional.
Okay. I think it's the unintentional part, because you got a bunch of wackos who'd be like, "Oh, I will geld myself. Yeah, that sounds great. For an award, sign me up." And it's like, "Oh, it has to be by accident."
By the way, this is a non-existent award. Just so you know, it's called the Darwin Award. When somebody does like this, you're not actually going to get an award for obvious reasons.
Are you kidding me? Of course you get a reward. You get the reward of being popular on Reddit. By the way, I did actually see the Reddit thread you're talking about, and this stuff is just cursed. It is cursed DIY.
It is. It's just horrible. It's like, why would you do this?
That like, it's like, you know how you really focus a lot of creativity and like practical knowledge, and then you just, it's like someone saying, "I went to God, what's a famous art school?" Fine. I went to a famous art school in Europe, and like, this is my first show unveiling, and it's just a bunch of highly stylized, like very detailed, let's even say Baroque paintings of turds. It's just turds everywhere. Or like, have you watched Bob's Burgers? Animal anuses. Just everywhere you go, animal anuses. You know, it's like, you're very talented, but why?
No, it'll be more hilarious if the picture was larger and more broader, but every centerpiece, like somewhere in the background, but always smack in the middle, would be like an animal with its ends, like a bustling park in a large city, and you have like in the front people riding bikes, people having a picnic, children running around, and just smack in the middle is a dog taking a shit.
You know, honestly, I think that would be great, and this is probably a great hook, right, into story time for tomorrow. I challenge you to take a trip down memory lane and remember the first piece of art at, I don't know, you were in art class or something, but you actually tried to, like, you put real effort into there. Okay? I want you to remember what it was and how it turned out. Like, what you pictured and what you ended up with. Share in the next episode next week.
One specific comes to mind, and that was just ugh. The comment for the teacher really broke me.
That just excites me more. Great vote of confidence right there.
Yeah, definitely. Especially how many attempts it fucking took to get to that point that I did.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the thing that hurts the most. It's how hard you try, and then just have someone be like, "It's not very good, is it?" Much like this podcast. At least on the bright side, we're not trying.
Yeah. I mean, sure, we could always pay Google Ads to promote us somewhere, but
like we could actually dedicate a lot of time and like storyboards and I don't know, hire competent people to do this research for us. Perhaps even a sound designer and video editor. We could pour our life savings into this, not for the money, just for the contribution to society.
For the clout.
But, you know, I prefer to just eat chips on the couch and cry tears of joy, knowing I'm not doing that much effort.
Yeah, oh my god. Who do we know that actually I think it was we're not gonna name him, but the dude whose house you sat for a while?
Yeah. I know who
you know who I mean? Okay. Well, yeah, I think he had one of those moments where he like put in his heart and soul into something and then all of this effort and all this it's gonna work. I'm like, no, it won't. I think it was that one time where when we were doing a skit and my skit took like 4 hours to make and it was only 30 seconds worth of content.
Yeah. Speaking of cursed things, I remember that. That was so cursed. Because we all had the humor of like 4-year-olds. And we were like in the bodies of teenagers, which made it all the more cringe. Like we were cringe before cringe was a popular term.
I think he even made like another video with you afterwards where I openly refused to participate.
Yeah, I mean, good on you. You know, you had the decency to be like, listen, this is enough. We've had our fun. This is enough. This is like adopting a heroin diet. It's not good for anyone.
No, it isn't. Who was it? I think it was what's his name? The guy who played Steve Jobs originally was supposed to play Steve Jobs.
For some reason, I can't think of anyone other than Steve Carell.
No. Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to originally play Steve Jobs in the Steve Jobs movie, but he couldn't because he, in order to get into the character and understand him better, he took up his diet and then got promptly hospitalized.
Steve Jobs was a weirdo. Steve Jobs was not human.
No, listen. He got hospitalized because an organ was failing, the same, I forget which one, but the same one that Steve Jobs got the cancer of and died from.
It's like, when you method act so hard, you die the same way.
Bruh. Oof.
That's commitment right there.
Oof. That's commitment. Oof. I hope nobody method acts Steve Irwin.
Yeah, I hope nobody. I think our outgoing message should be, you can be anyone you want to be, especially people you admire. Just don't be Steve Jobs.
Oh, man.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Yay. See you,
Bye.
peeps. Bye.